He stared at the phone for a long time before unlocking it. The screen was cracked. Not badly, just enough to distort the name at the top. But he didn't need to read it. He already knew. It had been there for days. That same notification. That same missed call. And now, it meant nothing. Or maybe it meant everything. He swallowed hard, but the feeling in his chest didn't move. It had been sitting there ever since that night. Like something heavy had replaced his heart. The hospital corridor still smelled the same. Cold. Clean. Lifeless. He remembered standing outside the room. Unable to step in. Because stepping in would make it real. And he wasn't ready for that. Not yet. Not after everything. Not after that last call. He closed his eyes. And just like that, he was back there again. That night. The night he chose. Not to answer. It was late. He had just gotten home. Tired. Irritated. Already carrying the stress of a long day. His wife was talking about something. Something important to her. But his mind wasn't there. Then the phone rang. He glanced at it for half a second. And sighed. Dad. Just one word. But it carried annoyance, more than anything else. The phone kept ringing. His wife looked at him. Why don't you pick it up? He didn't answer. He just stared at the screen. As if waiting for it to stop on its own. Because answering it felt like effort. And he was tired. So tired. The ringing stopped. Silence filled the room again. And somehow, that silence felt better. Easier. He placed the phone face down. And forgot about it. Or at least, he thought he did. Because some moments don't leave you. They just wait. Waiting for the day they come back. Stronger than ever. The next morning, he didn't call back. Not because he couldn't. But because he didn't think it mattered. He told himself the same thing he always did. I'll call later. But later is a dangerous lie. Because later depends on something you don't control. Time. Days passed. Life moved on. Work. Meetings. Responsibilities. Everything felt urgent. Everything felt important. Except the one thing that actually was. Another call came. He saw it again. Same name. Same person. Same choice. He let it ring. Again. Because somewhere deep inside, he had started believing something. That his father would always be there. Always calling. Always waiting. Always available. Like he always had been. But life doesn't work like that. And neither does time. That evening, the call came again. This time, it rang longer. Louder. Almost as if it was trying to say something. Beg something. But he didn't listen. He muted it. And continued with his life. As if nothing had happened. As if nothing was happening. As if nothing was about to end. Then came the night. The one that doesn't leave you. No matter how far you run. His phone rang again. But this time, it wasn't his father. It was an unknown number. He almost didn't pick it up. Almost. But something made him answer. Maybe instinct. Maybe fate. Or maybe Just bad timing. Hello? There was a pause on the other side. A heavy pause. The kind that doesn't feel normal. Are you his son? His chest tightened. Yes, who is this? Another pause. I'm calling from the hospital. And just like that, everything changed. The voice continued. But he couldn't hear it properly anymore. Words blurred. Time slowed. Only one sentence stayed clear. You should come immediately. He didn't remember the drive. Didn't remember the traffic. Didn't remember anything. Just the feeling that something was wrong. Very wrong. When he reached it, it was already too late. He stood there, frozen, as someone explained what had happened. But explanations don't matter when the ending is already written. All that mattered was one thing. He wasn't there. Not when it mattered. Not when he was needed. Not when his father was calling him. That truth hit harder than anything else. Because pain can be endured. Loss can be accepted. But guilt? Guilt stays. It doesn't leave. It doesn't fade. It doesn't forgive. Days turned into nights. And nights into something darker. He stopped sleeping properly. Because every time he closed his eyes, he heard it again. The ringing. That same ringtone. Over and over. Louder each time. Until it felt like it was inside his head. And there was no way to silence it. He started remembering things. Things he hadn't thought about in years. His childhood. His father waiting outside school. Holding his small hand while crossing the road. Bringing him food even when he didn't have enough for himself. Smiling even when life wasn't giving him a reason to. All those moments. All that love. And in the end, what did he give back? Missed calls. Excuses. Silence. That's the thing about life. It doesn't take everything from you at once. It waits. It lets you build your world. Your priorities. Your distractions. And then, at the right moment, it shows you what you ignored. And by then, it's too late. He picked up the phone again. Staring at that same notification. That same missed call. The last one. His thumb hovered over the screen. As if pressing it might somehow connect him back. Back to that moment. Back to that choice. Back to a version of himself that still had time. But screens don't rewind life. And calls don't return from the past. A tear rolled down his face. Slow. Silent. Heavy. Because this wasn't just sadness. It was realization. The kind that comes when there's nothing left to fix. Nothing left to say. Nothing left to do. Except remember. And regret. He finally understood something. Something simple. Something obvious. Something he should have known all along. That the people who wait for your call won't wait forever. And the ones who love you the most are the ones you ignore the easiest. Because you believe they'll always be there. But one day, they won't. And when that day comes, no amount of success, no amount of money, no amount of excuses will bring them back. Only silence will remain. And memories. And that one moment. That one call. You chose not to answer. And that will follow you for the rest of your life.